In this video, we're going to learn how to solve equations. In order to get started, we need to understand that everything needs to be in balance. So they need to balance, each side needs to balance each other out, okay? So in this case, we have a plus and a negative. We're always going to be in balance and zero. For example, you couldn't have this, 2 pluses equals 1 negative. Okay, it needs to be in balance. Okay, so let's get started and you'll understand what I mean by balance. So in this first equation, we have y equal, take 5 equals 11. Now, whatever we do to one side, we need to do to the other. Okay, so, and to get, what we need to do is end up with y equals, and then the equation, and then we'll be able to solve for y. Okay, so in this case, we have y take 5 equals 11. So this number here, in order to get it over to this side, we need to do the opposite of the operation. Now the operation is the negative. So the opposite of a negative is plus. So in this case, it would be 11 plus 5, which is equal to our y. Okay? So if we would add 11 plus 5, we would get 16. Now let's rewrite this up the top and replacing the y with our 16. So if we went 16 take 5, it would indeed equal 11. So in this case, we are correct. Just to help you though, if we have a positive, the opposite to a positive is a negative, and we have a multiplication, the opposite is a division. Okay, so let's have another go. Let's say we have x divided by 16 equals negative 2. We could also write it like this. X divided by 16 equals negative 2. Some of you may actually find that easier to comprehend. So in this case, I will use this one. So here we have our divide by 16. Now the opposite of this would be our multiplication, as up the top there. So it would be x equals negative 2 multiplied by 16. Now, if we were to multiply negative 2 by 16, we would get negative 32. Now, just like before, let's go and rewrite this equation, but substituting in our x. So in this case, it would be negative 32 divided by 16 equals negative 2. So therefore, we know we are correct. Okay, so let's do one that's slightly harder, but something that you have actually done before. So in this case, let's say we have 2 open brackets, x plus 5, close brackets, equals 18. Remember our distributive law that we have learnt in previous classes is that when we have a 2 and then a bracket, there is a multiplication that you can't see there. So in this case, to solve this, we would go 2 times x, which equals 2x, plus, now the reason why it's plus is because there's a plus here, and then 2 times 5, which is 10, equals 18. So now we have gotten rid of the brackets. If we go to our next line, we know we're going to have an 18 here. And before, we need to move the 10 over to the other side. So the opposite of positive 10 is now negative 10. And we're left with 2x. Just like before, remember we have our secret operation of multiplication. Now the opposite of multiplication is divide. So now we have x. Let me do a line first. 18 take 10 is 8. Here's our x. So now it'll be x 8, opposite of multiplication is divide. So x equals 4, because 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now let's check our answer just like before. If we go to, now replacing our x up here with a 4, 4 plus 5 equals 18. Let's solve the brackets first. So 4 plus 5 is 9. We bring the 2 down. Remember there's a multiplication there, so 2 times 9 is 18. So we know we are correct. So now we're going to have a practice. We have 2 problems today. So let's start with number 1. Let's go 3 times open brackets y plus 4 equals 22. And for our second one, let's go q take 7 equals 10. Okay, have a go at those.